the women are not going to like me for this one, but I don't care because it needs to be said. Not everything is grounds for divorce. I don't understand. I don't understand how there are women, the multitude of women on social media trying to convince a different woman to leave their spouse over the smallest, most ridiculous things. Okay. I'm sorry. I saw a video this morning of a woman crying in her bathroom because her husband didn't respond the way that she wanted him to her wearing lingerie. Now, I validate that woman's feelings, and she's allowed to cry about that and be like, you know what? I now don't feel as pretty as I thought I was going to feel because he didn't respond the way that I wanted to. But he didn't respond bad. He didn't say, you're disgusting, get out of my sight. He said, you look good. And she wanted something more. She wanted something bigger. She wanted him to tackle her, right? Which I get, but you don't get to control another person's response. You don't get to control the way that he acts in that situation. So the amount of women in her comments saying that's not your husband, girlie, go find you another man is disgusting. That's not, if he's abusing you, if he's cheating on you, or doing something illegal, okay, get out. Get out. And I'm all for having healthy marriages, but like, I would never convince my friend to leave her husband. I'm going to say, did you try everything? Did you do everything you could possibly do? Can you walk away from this situation knowing full good and well, saying it to Jesus, I did everything in my power to save my marriage? Because some of you guys are acting like marriage is just a transaction, like it's so flippant. And you guys are convincing other women to leave their husbands for ridiculous things because he didn't respond the way that you wanted him to respond. That's women trying to convince you to leave. That's just gross. It's gross behavior, and I'm not for it.
Most, not everything, but most things can be fixed if people learn to take accountability for their own wrongdoings and learn to forgive others for their wrongdoings. None of us are perfect, and the grass isn't always greener.
Guys, I went on the worst date that I've ever had last night. Let me set the scene for you. He's 29, I'm 21, okay? He asks me to pick him up. And then when I get there, I'm like, "Okay, I'm here." He calls me, he goes, "Where?" I'm like, "I'm literally parked. It's an apartment complex. Where the fuck do you want me to go?" He goes, "I'm at the address that I sent you." So am I. It's an apartment complex. So he gets into my car, immediately judges it. Like, "Of course you drive a Subaru." What do you mean, of course I drive a Subaru? I also kiss girls. Of course I fucking drive a Subaru. He then asks me, "Where are we going?" Sir, you planned it. You planned this. You are supposed to know where we are going. Thank God that the bar that we decided to go to was literally 5 minutes from his place. Thank God. We get to the bar, okay? We sit at the bar because this guy didn't want to sit at a table because he thought dinner dates were stupid. And I told him, I've never been on a proper dinner date. He goes, "Well, they're stupid, so we're not going to do that." Okay, so we sit at the bar. He's like rubbing my back, kind of touching it. I'm like, "Why are you touching me?" But he rubs my back. He goes, "Oh my God, you have a new tattoo back here." I said, "Yeah, I just got it." He goes, "Does it hurt?" "Yeah, you're touching it. Stop touching it. It hurts." So he stops. And we then start talking about tattoos because he has a full sleeve. So I'm asking, like, "What's your favorite part of your sleeve?" Blah, 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 blah. And then he's asking me about my arm tattoos that I have. And then he goes, "Yeah, then you have this one." Lifted my whole shirt to show the entire bar my entire back. Stop! No! Who even has the audacity to do such a thing? Don't touch me. Oh, but he still touches. Grabbing at my waist, like, weirdly, like, grabbing my arms and, like, my chest, and, like, absolutely not. He goes, "So when do I get to meet your puppy?" Said, "We can do that later. Like, I'm not a girl that takes you home on the first date. I'm also tired." He goes, well, you were talking such big game. Excuse me? Did you think you were worthy of my game? And our pizza comes out, right? And I eat my pizza. He goes, are you gonna eat all of that? Damn, I was gonna. Now I don't know anymore. You're asking me weird questions. Don't never ask a woman if she's gonna eat her full fucking meal. 'Cause we are! Anyways, he keeps asking, oh, are you gonna eat your full meal? Are you gonna eat the full thing? And then when he comes back from the bathroom and I finish my pizza, he was like, oh, you did it. Yeah, of course I did it. I'm an adult. I can finish a pizza that's 11 inches. What the fuck are you talking about? It gets worse. The waitress comes up. She goes, hey guys, ready for your bill? He goes, yeah, do you guys take Apple Pay? She says no. He goes, oh, and just looks at me. I pay for dinner! This man is 29 and you didn't bring your card to a date that you planned and have been bugging me about? So I take him home. I'm driving him home. He goes, wow, I thought we were gonna like hang out or like listen to music or something. So we could probably do that later, but not tonight. He got so butthurt. He was like, I don't even get to kiss you. I'm like, you haven't even asked. You haven't tried. No. He does kiss me, but terrible kisser. Absolutely horrible. Also, in his car at this point, he's like going through our text to try to find my big game talk. Want to know the best part? Doesn't have my number saved. As soon as he's out of my car, he calls me. Hey, I forgot something. I look over. There are not keys or anything on my seat. There is a box. Like a weird rectangle shaped box. Homie didn't have keys for his house or like a fob for his garage door. This dude decided to take the full garage door opener off of his wall and puts it in his pocket as his key. What? Never in my life have I seen that before. I mean, it's an idea. You used your brain for something. Also, this is petty and it's little and it means nothing. But after our date, I was like, oh my God, is Fear Factory down? Like a haunted house that I like, oh my God, it's down that street. Like I'm realizing where we are. He goes, yeah, that's the one next to my house. And I said, no, that one's Nightmare on 13th. He goes, yeah, they're the same thing. And I said, absolutely not. Actually, I worked at Nightmare. Fear Factory is completely fucking different, and it's actually a bit cooler, in my opinion, because I didn't work there. I think I know my things, especially as a girl who is obsessed with haunted houses and just Halloween in general. I think I would know the different haunted houses. Stop saying that I don't know my shit when obviously you don't know your shit. You live right there. You are supposed to know your fucking shit, but you do not! Excuse me. Chat, I promise I'm not yelling at you. To top it all off, I obviously blocked this guy, but to top it all off, I go to my wallet this morning. My card isn't there. I left it at the bar! Because I was so excited just to get out of his space, to get out of his aura, get away from him. Anyways, I think I'm not gonna date for a minute. Because apparently 29-year-olds don't know anything. I thought older would know things. They don't. And now I'm tempted to go back to the guys that are really bad for me. But I'm not.
See, where do guys like this are able to touch and do all of this and actually get a kiss? But then normal guys who are just a little bit awkward or whatever, or introverts, if they do something like that, it's a whole problem. I find that insane, that's all. What's wrong with you picking him up? Maybe his car's in the shop? I mean, I get where you were coming from, but I don't think homeboy has a chance from the beginning.
I just had a really humbling realization that the last 3 men I have been on a date with have all ghosted me. I think communication might be a little bit broken because the first guy, for example, we had been on 7 dates together, and I tried to arrange a plan with him for the week and he disappeared. The next guy was 1 date, and after the date he messaged to say how much fun he had, and I said that too, and I thought we would book in another one, but apparently not because he too disappeared. And then the third one, we went on 1 date and I messaged him the next day to say thank you for buying the drinks, and he just didn't reply. The same guy that was sucking my face in the front of a pub. So I'm confused. It's probably something to do with me. I know that's really toxic. There's probably something about me, but I shouldn't think like that. I'm just thinking dating is a little bit broken and I don't quite know how to fix that, because I put my most authentic self out there and I try to be exactly who I am here with my friends, wherever, and it still goes this way. When does it end? When does my Prince Charming just appear? I don't know, but yep, humbled.
I actually just think guys need way more reassurance these days. It's not you, girl. They're just rejection sensitive, so they tap out first.
It's rough out here, guys. This is where we're at in 2026 with dating in Australia. Because I met somebody IRL 3 weeks ago. We still haven't organised a time. I think I'm just going to have to stop responding. After we exchanged numbers, he did contact me that week and he said, would you like to go out for dinner? I said yes, and he said, where would you like to go? What's some of your favourite restaurants? We picked a restaurant. And then the only thing is he didn't lock in a date. So we decided on a restaurant and then he didn't close the date. I was like, But I didn't want to organise it and lock it in myself because I just thought I don't want to get into all the mental load from the outset. Like, we all know what ends up happening there. When a woman takes on the mental load from the beginning, it's not a good sign. I just waited to see what he would do. He got back to me on the weekend and he said, hey, what are you doing this weekend? What's up for the weekend? And I was going to an event. I let him know that I was busy on the Saturday, and he said, okay, what about the Sunday? I said I wasn't available because I had some things that I wanted to do. I was busy. I really needed that reset day for that week. There was a bit of a bad form on my behalf after that. It was on the Saturday at the event. I ended up getting quite drunk. I realised that the St Kilda Festival was on that weekend and on the Sunday, and there was someone I really wanted to see. It was Grace Cummings. And so I did text him while I was drunk on the Saturday night and I said, hey, if you're still up for doing something Sunday, I'd love to go see Grace Cummings. And he said, oh, I thought what happened to the reset day that you were going to do? And I said, look, I really want to see her. I didn't know she was on and I've decided to do this instead. I actually had forgotten that I'd texted him. This exchange happened the next day on the Sunday morning. I was pretty hungover. He didn't say yes or no as to whether he wanted to come. But he did get back to me in the afternoon and said, hey, did you end up going, or are you there or something? And I said, look, I'm still on the couch. It's Saturday today. He texts me in the morning. He's like, good morning. What's on for the weekend? I said, I've just been to the gym and I'm going to visit a friend today in Carlton. And he said, oh, look, bummer, we're just crossing paths on the opposite side of the city because I'm going to visit someone that I know in Mordialloc. I did say to him, okay, so you're going to be back, what time are you going to be back north side? He said, oh, I'm going to be going out with a friend in the evening. He said, look, should we lock something in? I also tried to do this previously with the previous week when the weekend wasn't working out. I'd said, look, I'm not available Wednesday, but I'm available the rest of the week. He chose not to respond to that. So I just tried it again. I just wanted to see what his reaction was. And I said, what about this coming week? Shall we organise something? I'm not available Saturday. And he just responded with a text saying, yes, we shall, with like an exclamation point. I just thought I'm going to be direct this time. I said, shall we lock this in or shall we just shelve this? I haven't heard back from him yet. Maybe I won't hear back from him, but it's like, this is the state of trying to organise something these days. Like, I don't understand why he started out with I'll take you out for dinner. He walked it back to just trying to catch me on a weekend. He can lock things in with his friends. Why can't he lock anything in with me? I guess it just says that he is very low effort and that he really doesn't think much of meeting up with me. It's really too bad because he was cute and we met in real life. It felt natural. I was excited, but it's just not going anywhere. What do you guys think? Why is it so hard? I don't understand.
You have to start it the way you want it to finish. He didn't take any initiative in the beginning. We can only speculate as to why, but I feel you're equally to blame for nothing happening since. Here's a perspective of what you've put into it. You were busy Saturday, that's fine, but gave a weak, no-interest reason for Sunday. He wasn't commandeering your day, it was just dinner. You then went all wishy-washy going back on your reset for an event you supposedly really wanted to see, which you then didn't even go to because you were too hungover. Inconsistent with your words and intentions, none of this is attractive to a potential date. Did you initiate any contact during the week to signal interest? You don't say, so I assume no. And now issuing him an ultimatum, he'd be well within his rights to ignore it. Nothing you've mentioned here has shown you have any interest in him. You changed the window of opportunity to suit your own needs. Guys are transient, BC. They've learned that unless they have a rotation, they won't get what they want.
It's 2:30 a.m. and I just finished a first date. And you would think 2:30 a.m. must have been a great date. I'm walking myself home. I shaved every single crevice of my body. It's been 20 days since I was last cracked. And I didn't even get a goodnight kiss. Mind you, we were 5 minutes from my apartment and he wouldn't even walk me home.
She just said she puts out for every first date. Why would you do that for a first date? You over-prepared for something that was just supposed to be a first impression. He dodged a train wreck.
I'm going on a first date tonight that I completely planned myself. I did this as a science experiment and I'm honestly glad I did, but I will be honest, I gave myself the ick doing that. When I say I planned this date, I literally mean I asked him if he wanted to go get drinks, picked the place, picked the time, made the reservations. Someone in my last video commented and said, "Are you gonna bring him flowers too?" Like, literally. This is the last time that I am ever going to do that. But this is where I need your help a little, and tell me if this is just me being toxic. I don't think I'm gonna go on the date unless he follows up today asking if we're still on for tonight. Because considering I did literally everything else, I think the least he could do is follow up. The very end of our last conversation was after I made our reservation, I let him know when and where, and he said, perfect. So I think I'm just gonna leave it at that, and if I don't hear from him, I'm probably not gonna show up, but then I'm gonna feel really bad if he still shows up and thinks that I stood him up. But since I am the man in this situation, naturally it feels like my responsibility to follow up and ask if we're still good for tonight, but I don't want to. I already feel like I know how tonight's gonna go. We're gonna show up. Ugh. Ew. I'm gonna be the one that's like, hi, I have a reservation for Maddie. I thought that at least I would initiate the idea of a date and then he would take the lead from there. No. He's like, I don't know, what were you thinking? You have a place in mind? What time? I'm like, okay. This was a fun little experiment. Never doing it again. Stay tuned for if I actually go on the date.
I've never really understood the follow-up. If they know all the information, what are they following up for? Bestie, you planned everything. He has no incentive to follow up. I think if you ask someone out, it's your responsibility to plan. He didn't ask you, you asked him. If he had interest in asking you on a date and planning it, he would have.
So I just got drinks with this boy, and I actually am not really dating right now, but back in November when I was recently freshly dumped, I was looking around for some validation, and so he and I were talking, but he was like moving to the city, and I was just like, dude, this back and forth, I'm not into. Let me know whenever you're settled. And so he texted me a couple of days ago, and we ended up getting drinks today. And he's really, really sweet. Honestly, I think I overwhelmed him a little bit. I can come off kind of crazy and like insane. And he probably was just like, oh my God. But I didn't think that we would be something romantic. And so when I left the bar, I was like, honestly, I think you would really like my two friends. I have these two guys who I feel like you guys would really get along. And he was like, yeah, I would love to meet your friends. Would you like to see me again? And it's always hard when they ask you on the spot, but I feel like after years of dating, I feel pretty comfortable being honest. And so I was like, I would love to hang out, but as friends. And I actually would really like to hang out with him as friends. He's like a really funny guy. I think I would like to spend time with him, just not in like a romantic context. He texted me and was like, it was really nice to meet you. And I was like, dude, I'm actually serious about like grabbing coffee with my friends if you want to. So hopefully we can be friends. Maybe this is like the failed dating to friendship pipeline that I'm gonna make a thing now.
Let me be brutally honest with you, because you like honesty. There is no such thing as dating to be friends. No guy that values their time wants to be friends with a girl. There's nothing a girl can provide as a friend that a guy can't give them.